We're here. All right, we're back for episode 3. I'm Scott Rubin. This is Gushers. We invite in Chicago artists to gush about other Chicago artists. And I'm so excited this week to have Caroline Jesalva.
I'm excited to be here.
Tell us about yourself.
So I'm a violinist, vocalist, and improviser. I've been in Chicago for almost 2 years now, which is really awesome. And I'm here today to gush about Katinka Kleijn, who I love, and actually is the reason I made the decision to move to Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was that conversation like?
My senior year of college, I was deciding where to move after,
It's a big question. What's the next
decision.
step? Yeah.
Yeah, and I was making a lot of trips around to different cities that year, and I'd gone to LA, New York, and Chicago, and I knew it was between New York and Chicago, mainly because both just have amazing creative scenes, and specifically with experimental music and performance art and all the things that I wanted to do. So I had made one last effort to go to New York, a month before I graduated. And actually, it was for this, I feel like this is a really cool thing I got to do. I was at the Morgan Library, and I got to look and touch the original manuscript for the Ravel Violin Sonata. That was a geeky thing I was up there to do. And I was staying with a friend, and she was like, I'm going to go to this Loft concert. Do you want to come? And I was like, yeah, why the hell not? And that show just happened to be Katinka and this cellist she was collaborating with at the time, Aliya Ultan, who was also amazing. And it was like the coolest thing I'd ever seen. And they were like, it was like a performance where Aliya had basically axed this cello, buried it, and dug it up 3 years later, and they were performing on it. And
like a tree.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I just loved it, and I was like, wherever this person is, I want to be there too. And so,
and now you're here.
Yes, and I just got to talk with her after, and I was like, I was just peppering her with questions, and I was like, I'm trying to decide between New York and Chicago, and up until that was the first time I had met her, I had no idea where she was from.
These conversations have changed the course of our lives.
Yeah, and I just thought that she was this cool-ass cellist from New York.
Yeah. And
then she was like, well, I'm actually from Chicago, and I live there, and like, you should move there. So.
Wow.
Yeah, and now we play in a duo together, and she is one of my closest friends, and I love her so much, so that's why
that's
I wanted
wonderful.
To bring her stuff in today to talk about.
What did you bring in today?
I brought in a couple pieces from Katinka's body of work, 2 solo.
Is that pun intended?
It is a little bit of a pun intended. I did kind of work on that. But yeah, two different pieces, I think about 4 years apart. So this first one is called Body as a Variable Resistor.
Body as a Variable Resistor.
And this is an ever-evolving project that dives into the relationship of the cello as a body corollary to our own and an environment, featuring a circuit shared between a cello synth and a human body. And the clip that you're gonna see, there's like a electronic pedal setup, and I think it's a looper pedal, and like a glass of water, and what Katinka does with it, and I'm just mesmerized by it. I actually don't know how it works, but we'll find out.
Shall we?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. There's a lot going on here.
So much, yeah.
So let's break this down.
Totally.
Maybe we start from the beginning. We have a cellist on stage.
Yep.
She's wearing something that you'd wear at the gym. Mm-hmm. Maybe, you know, she's not in concert black. And these are not sounds that you expect from a cello.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. In fact, like, well, just a little bit of background. Katinka is a cellist in the Chicago Symphony Orchestra. She was historically the only female cellist for, I think, since like 1993 when she joined. And now as of last year, there are 3 women cellists now, including Katinka.
What an accomplishment.
Yeah.
Good job, CSO.
But for as you can imagine, like being a part of a extremely famous major symphony orchestra that's also a classical orchestra, there's a certain level of probably decorum and
Culture.
Yeah. Refinery that you might expect, like
Expectations.
Yeah. Yes. And myself also being classically trained and coming from a classical background, this kind of performance you would never expect. And
the people in this audience are probably not CSO subscribers.
For sure. And well, I know, and you also have a classical background.
Yes.
As a composer.
Yes.
So maybe we could dissect a little bit from that perspective.
So before we get into that,
yeah.
What's the setup here? Like, where are these sounds coming from?
Yeah, absolutely. I gotta be honest, I don't fully understand it myself. I haven't had the chance to talk to Katinka exactly about what the setup here was, but from what I'm getting from this performance is that there's a connection between the body as an instrument that has an electrical pulse.
Yes.
And the cello, as it is being electrically amplified by a contact mic and a pickup. I believe there's both, I would assume. And there is a circuit being created between Katinka, her own body as the performer, and the cello as I think in this case we can assume as being taking on sort of like a human persona.
So like the body is an extension of the cello is an extension of the body.
Exactly.
Emerging, becoming one.
Exactly. Yeah. And sort of a circuitry framing device, if you will. And the clip that we just watched is about 3 minutes in. I wanted to look at this clip specifically because I feel like it's sort of the climax moment, the first climactic moment of the piece, which is about 9 minutes. But what I really love about this moment in particular is that the first 3 minutes, you're basically just hearing what I can only describe as the cello screaming. And it's just these super high-pitched noises that are being created with the bow, with Katinka's hands dipped in the water, touching the instrument. But it sounds as if the cello is in pain and it's screeching.
I mean, using water on a cello...
seems like sacrilegious.
Yeah. Like, this might be a very expensive piece of wood.
Yeah.
And so to treat it with water, like, oh, you're damaging it, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But I'm sure this is like Katinka's party cello.
Yeah, I would expect.
This is not the same cello she plays with at Symphony Center.
No. Yeah. And in fact, I think you can see that this cello has like a Sharpie, like it's tattooed or something like that with some sort of numbering. And so yes, we're not talking about
it's not a Stradivarius cello.
No. Yeah. It's definitely a cello that's been through some trauma or
some parties.
Some parties too, yeah.
Yeah.
But I also wanted to note the thing that you said about where the performer being in, she's wearing like gym clothes, essentially. Yeah. Definitely not something that you would expect from a performance with a cello. And I feel like when we even say that, people, when you say the word cello or cellist, people are not going to think of, they're not going to think of like someone playing in a bar or someone playing on the street or even someone wearing like regular everyday clothing.
So what's the message that she's trying to send, like being dressed like that and using water on her instrument and expanding her body through the cello and vice versa? Like it's all, this is all part of the performance.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, I think like on a very visual level, it screams like subversiveness. I think you can just read Katinka's bio and like understand that there is a lot of, she's very heavily a part of a very old tradition, an old Western classical tradition that has a lot of very like refined rituals and wealth backing it up. And like if you take just this one image that we're paused on, it kind of screams very Riot Girl punk. She's sort of like not to be crass, but she's like sort of half naked. She's hugging the cello. You could say that this is very, very bad posture.
Yeah.
In the beginning of the video, she's scratching the cello a lot.
Like with her fingernails?
With her fingernails, with her bow, and obviously like the water being splashed on the cello. That's something that you would never do. It's very, from a classical perspective, it's like, it screams almost like disrespectful in many ways. But I also think that on another level, this, if you go below sort of like how it comes across visually, I think that there's sort of like almost, I feel like an unpeeling of something, potentially her own relationship to the instrument from the classical perspective. And I feel like that's kind of how I'm interpreting the piece watching it. Like as a string player, there are so many, there's this, there's like a really strange relationship that you develop with the instrument.
Because it's fragile.
It's fragile. Every little thing about your own body changes the way you interact with it.
Yes.
And there's so much there's so much reliant on your own posture and your own physical behavior, the way you touch it, the way you grab it, the way you press down on the string. Everything changes. The sound, even the way you breathe, like changes how you produce sound. And you, especially when you're like classically trained, you spend the majority of your life just figuring out how to interact with it to produce this super pure, clean sound.
The words pure and clean. We just
that like triggered something.
Oh God, yeah.
But that's not what's going on here. In this next clip, that we're about to watch, I think that there's a lot of, you see this like care that comes out, but also this frustration, and maybe we can hit that for some more discussion points. But,
you ready?
Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah. I love it.
What a way to... What
it.
an ending.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, Scott, you're a string player too. I'm curious, like, what that kind of brings up for you.
I mean, when I've been improvising on my viola since 2014, and folks who have watched me play, like, I have a contact mic, and I bring the instrument up to my face a lot, and I use the F holes, like, the whole thing's just a vessel.
Right.
And you blow into it, you can buzz, you can sing, you can scream. Sometimes we need to scream. And so, but a cello is like it's a giant viola.
Yeah.
And it's, just putting up to your face. But she's not screaming. She's using this like very high electrical tone.
Yeah.
But it sounds like a human voice.
Absolutely.
And so it's like the physical gesture of her bringing up to her face, putting her face in it, like she's screaming, but you only hear the computer.
Yeah.
It's sort of like it subverted my expectations. You expect a human voice, you don't get it, but it sounds like a human voice. Like my art is all about amplifying the body and subversing that expectation, and that's a great moment.
Absolutely, yeah. Just the fact that the piece ends with that, like we're seeing it's this beautiful form. But
then she brings the cello down and then holds it in a more traditional position, and then she breaks the fourth wall and looks at the audience. And it's like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
And which is very, very traditional.
Yeah.
Like what she could have bowed at the end, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think that's like the really interesting thing about all of Katinka's work is that it just intersects so many different things. You can't really pinpoint it down.
Weaving tradition through subversiveness.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But it's like, it's not only her tradition, but it's performance art, it's visual art, it's installation work.
It's hacking your instrument.
It's improvisation. But I like what you said about, like your viola being a vessel, because I really feel like that's what we see throughout everything she does, is that the cello it doesn't just become, it's not just a cello, it really is this instrument through which she helps us see her world and the rest of the world.
It's a tool.
Exactly. Yeah. And I love how at the end, like you said, it looks like she's screaming, but
it's the same way like you'd scream into a pillow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the sound that's emitted is the cello. And it's this, to me, it's like this blending of the body, her body, and the cello body. And where almost she becomes the instrument for the cello. And I think it's just a further example of like this, the cello being an extension of herself. But this next clip, Scratching, I got to see in person, and I absolutely love this one. This clip is kind of like it's like a trailer version of the piece, but this work was directly related to a quote by a famous classical conductor, Sir Thomas Beecham, and it's sort of like this piece is sort of like a fuck you to to this quote, but famously Thomas Beecham said, "Madam, you have between your legs an instrument capable of giving pleasure to thousands, and all you can do is scratch it." In this piece, Katinka has a contact mite, and she's scratching her crotch and wearing this like super sequined like bodysuit, and well, you'll see what I'm talking about.
All right, you ready?
Madam, you have between your legs an instrument capable of giving pleasure to thousands. And all you can do is scratch it.
How did the audience react to this?
That's such a good question. I think they really loved it. It was quite a full swimming pool. It took place in a swimming pool, but it was quite full. I mean, they did a post show chat, which I thought was awesome. And they talked a lot about the development of the piece and how the sound was created. And one of the things I really love about this work in particular is that you see her scratching herself, and it's amplified, and she's also looping it, and so she actually has like a mic inside her vagina, and it's like this further melding of like it's like post-human in a way, where she's like half cyborg or something like that, half woman, and she has further like electrical pulses running through her. So I wanted to like compare both of these. One, because it's like I feel like this is like a further development of the body as a variable resistor.
Yes.
But now we have the lens like really punching you in the face of the classical world, which is also in this sense like an anti-feminist perspective too. And all of this whole piece is sort of subverting both of those.
Well, I was going to ask, so you moved to Chicago after having a conversation with Katinka.
Yeah.
And you see these works. And I guess my question is, as a string player, like you play violin, how does this influence what you're doing?
So Katinka and I did a piece together last year called Eclipse Bodies. And it was around the same time she was making Scratching, like a couple months before. So it was, I think it's fascinating to work with her because her practice is so beautifully formed, and there are like Katinka as like a conceptual artist has these very core concepts that she works with, and something I was really interested in pursuing at that time was also like, how is the violin an extension of my voice? Being like I sing and play the violin, and I think like that practice kind of further developed working with her on Eclipse Bodies. And something we talked about a lot was like, how do we take these concepts that we are interested in as artists and translate that into the medium of sound? And yeah, I feel like I feel like I could fill another hour with all this stuff, but like there's so much from working with her and seeing her process of doing things that has influenced my process of doing things. And I feel like there's like a huge cohort of string players in Chicago who have also been influenced by the way Katinka works and what Katinka is like putting out. And I also know that's true all over the US and internationally as well. I like always meet people who are like, yeah, Katinka is so cool, and and she does so many amazing things. So I think she's like incredibly influential in that sense, and I think we need more people like her.
Yeah.
Who are kind of who like come from a tradition and are using the skills and background to create their own path and create their own unfamiliarity or like unfamiliar things and put them out into the world.
You want to leave it there?
Sure. Yeah, that's
Cool.
great.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
This was excellent.